Hello, and a very warm welcome to Half Moon's 1990-2020 virtual showcase, celebrating 30 years of the Young People's Theatre. Everything you're about to watch has been created by young people from 5 of our youth theatres alongside a fantastic team of freelancers, including filmmakers, photographers, composers, designers and tutors, as well, of course, as our excellent team here at Half Moon. In March 2020, Half Moon celebrated its 30th birthday as the Young People's Theatre. Our planned celebrations were quickly postponed, however, when COVID-19 forced the country into a national lockdown. However, over a year later, and feeling more confident about the future, we are proud that we have been able to mark our 30th birthday appropriately with a virtual showcase of digital content that celebrates not only the history of Half Moon as a Young People's Theatre, but also the creativity and resilience of our young people. So, a huge thank you to National Lottery Heritage Fund for supporting this project, and to everyone at Tower Hamlet's local history library and archives. I hope you enjoy our trio of digital birthday celebrations. Born 1990, Happened 1990, and Snapped 1990-2020. For more information about this project and all the activities of Half Moon, please visit our website, halfmoon.org.uk. Enjoy!
Hello, my name is Adil Akhtar, and before the 1990-2020 celebrations begin, I wanted to wish the Half Moon a very, very happy 30th birthday. I am so honoured to be a patron of the Half Moon, and I champion all the amazing work they do with children and young people, providing inclusive access to the creative arts, both as a participant and as an audience member. So enjoy the birthday celebrations, and here's to another 30 years of working with children and young people.
We're here with Ethel Willowsberg, an 85-year-old lady from East London. So, thank you for agreeing to be interviewed, Ethel. It would be great to hear your memories of the year 1990. What do you remember about this day 30 years ago?
Well, funny you should say that. Today is actually my birthday. I was obviously a lot younger back then, but I do remember it wasn't that easy getting in touch with friends. I remember waiting for my friends to wish me a happy birthday, but technology just wasn't like it is today.
It was Ethel's birthday. She was very popular. She was waiting for all of her friends to wish her a happy birthday. These two friends tried to wish Ethel a happy birthday by using the landline telephone. It didn't work. These two tried to find Ethel's phone number in the yellow pages so that they could phone her. No luck there. Maybe they could wish her a happy birthday with these floppy disks. How do you even use a floppy disk? Morse code. Maybe Ethel would see the light signals. Not likely. These two try to find Ethel's house in the A to Z so that they can knock and say happy birthday. Where was her house? Now, it was time to send a pigeon with a birthday message. But first, he needed to catch it. Ethel was still waiting. Nobody had managed to get in touch with her. Happy birthday, Ethel.
You see, these days, I get so many phone calls, text messages, chat snappies, Instagrams, tweeters. I mean, Facebook loads my whole screen with balloons. It's crazy. I love it. I can sit here and do everything in my armchair. It was a lot harder before the internet. I mean, well done to the people who invented it. I would have loved to been a fly on the wall back then.
On the agenda today, we need to find an easier way of connecting people.
I think we've done it, but what are we going to call it?
I think it should be called Joshua, because I made the dial-up tone and the explosion.
I think it should be called Angel because I invented it.
I think it should be called Astor, because I made the fluid that went into it.
No, it should be called Tim, because I did cut off my thumb for this.
I think it should be called the Loser, after me, because I put my blood, sweat and tears into this.
I think it should be called Tom because I think I'm the greatest mind.
I think it should be called Willow because I'm honestly just the best.
I think it should be called the Eliza because I broke my own glasses for this.
I think it should be called Casper, because I broke my hip.
I think it should be called Kiva because I invented it.
No, it should be called the Max Pro. I invented the levers and hacked the computer. I am the very well-known Tim Berners-Lee, and you all are all just arguing when it should be called the Internet! Ah, the Internet! Are you all ready? Because I think it's time. Are you sure?
Have you seen that video? The Kid's Guide to the Internet? It's very funny. Let me show you.
Bring information at your fingertips.
To search the internet, all you need to remember is http://www.
World Wide Web.
Electronic mail.
Floppy disk. Computer screen.
Keyboard!
The World Wide Web, y'all. On the internet, you can search up any recipe.
You can find a ton of educational resources that can even help you do your homework.
You can have your own website.
I'm so glad we got the internet. It's an information highway.
Did you know only 80,000 computers have internet? Why not sign up today?
Do you want to connect with more people? Why not send some electronic mail? It's free.
Oh, sorry, Doris is calling. No, I'm not going to the bowls club with Nigel. It's smelly. Of course not. Of course I wouldn't just throw your marmalade on the floor as soon as I got it. Of course I ate it. It was the best marmalade ever. Have you seen Margaret's new website? She also has a YouTube channel. And apparently she's selling those awful scarves on Etsy. Have you seen Derek's new dog? It's hideous. I need to go. Bye, Doris.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No problem. I was just asking, what was your favourite programme from the 90s or your favourite TV show?
There was this brilliant new show. Started in September 1990. The Crystal Maze. To reminisce on the 1990s. But I must be getting on. I've got 100 emails to reply to, and I've just ordered the latest iPhone 13. Did you know it can now drive your car for you? Astonishing! Actually, I must tell Doris.
My name is Katy. I am a Year 6 teacher and middle leader at Mayflower Primary School, and I've worked in Tower Hamlets for 7 years, and I lived here for 5 years up until 2019. I grew up in Surrey, which is just outside London, and so I spent all my time as a child I spent outside. When my parents didn't want us to annoy them, they would just kick us out the front of the house and close the door, and we would go and play with our friends, and we would skateboard. So most of my childhood I spent outside. And I was lucky enough to grow up with, surrounded by loads of green space, which is I guess is why I think it's so important for children nowadays. I think I have moments every day that highlight the difference between my experience of primary school and what it's like for children now. But I think one of the main things is that I think school is more fun now, but there's a lot less sitting and listening to the teachers, and there's more active learning and talking to your partners and working together. And technology is much more part of education these days. It's used in every subject at one point or another, whereas we never used to use it when I was at school. Some of the biggest changes have been to our community. So, for example, our community is diversifying culturally and socially. Lots of new people are moving to our borough. And there's lots of community-led groups now, which there didn't used to be before. So a lot of people helping their communities and helping each other. And to add to that, in education, there's more collaboration between schools and partnership with lots of schools working together and other organisations, for example, Half Moon, where they work with young people and give children opportunities outside of school. I guess also another thing is with so many people moving to our area, there's overcrowding has become a bit of an issue because there's not enough houses for all the people that want to live in Tower Hamlet. Lots of our families live in multi-generation households, so you've got great grandmas and grandmas living with their parents and children and things like that. And lots of our families have been moved out of borough to try and make more space. But I also think there's lots of empowered community representation. So lots of people taking control of their lives and taking control of their community to help people. And I think that's a really positive thing that's happened in the last few years in Tower Hamlets. There are lots of challenges in schools to providing a level educational playing field for children and families. But I think schools are quite good at overcoming these. That's our bread and butter. It's everything we do is trying to level the playing field. So we've always got lots of things to help children from all different areas and all different walks of life. But I think that the pandemic and lockdown really highlighted how well we're able to do that in schools because it was so much harder to do virtually. So, for example, like I was saying before about technology, the difference in access to technology and Wi-Fi made it much harder for us to reach lots of our community. So I think there have been lots of impacts that the pandemic has had on the communities in Tower Hamlets. I hope that it's brought our community closer together. So in our community, there were food packages given out and community groups stepped in to donate resources and deliver medical supplies. And they delivered shopping to people who were isolating. So I hope that a lasting impact will be that the community will continue to support each other. Obviously, there's also been some negative impacts, on mental well-being, and some people were very lonely during the pandemic because they couldn't see their friends. I can't imagine being a child and not being able to play with my friends. So caring about how people are feeling, not just what people are doing. I think lockdown brought it to light, but mental health is something that's important in our community, regardless of the pandemic. I think the best way we can help all young people to achieve their potential in the future is through giving them lots of exciting learning opportunities. So in school and outside school, getting a love and excitement for learning, which will stay with them forever. And keeping mental health at the front of conversations and embedding it in our school curriculums as well will help young people take care of themselves in an ever-changing world. My message for the young people of Tower Hamlets is that the world is a big and exciting place, so learn as much as you can and choose to spend your life doing something that challenges you and something that you love.
My name's Sabiha Khanam. I am the Volunteer and Partnerships Manager for Portlock. I grew up in Tower Hamlets in Bow, for those that are familiar with it. I love the community that I grew up in. It was very diverse. I knew every neighbour in my 6-story flat that I used to live in. We did all sorts of things growing up when we were children, you know, putting little cans on our bikes, roller skating, playing knockdown ginger. And every summer, what some of the boys would do in the area is actually pull the water system up, and we'd have a whole flood of water in the area. Everyone would just come out to have this water fight, but it was fun. You really enjoyed kind of just doing those sort of fun activities outside. So I really enjoyed my childhood, and just kind of seeing Tower Hamlets change over the years, and just seeing more communities coming in as time has changed. I think some of the biggest changes include just kind of the area itself. I mean, I was just walking down Roma Road, and there's a tube line, and typically that side, it had no homes. It was derelict. Now, I think all I can see are just blocks of flats. You know, typically it was kind of predominantly BAME communities, but now you're seeing a lot of working professionals migrating into Tower Hamlets from different backgrounds altogether. And perhaps that's also kind of fragmented the communities as well. I think especially for the older generation, where perhaps, you know, once where they felt safe, they could walk down. I guess perhaps they don't feel like they can as much just because they don't know who they're going to be walking past. So we knew immediately these were kind of impact that the pandemic had from last year lockdown. For us, it was a huge eye-opener for the way that we work, the way we will continue to work. So initially the impact that we saw was we knew we had families isolated. We could not get hold of some of our elderly residents. And also we knew families were struggling with food, they needed access to hot meals, as well as the basic essentials. So we kind of put measures in place. We work with partners, for example, like Women's Inclusive Team. They provided a community kitchen and cooked hot meals every day, twice a day, to residents that we knew were living in isolation and for whatever reason could not have access to a hot meal. We also kind of provided food bank, medical support, just, you know, being able to collect people's medication and drop that off to their door. I think going forward, people are, you know, they're financially struggling. We know poverty has impacted them. It's whether or not you put food on the table or whether or not you pay for your bills. So I don't think the focus is going to be coming immediately back into our community centres. I think it's going to be around the fact that if someone has lost their job, it's actually, how do I reskill myself to get back into another job? Or if I know I used to work within hospitality, how can I move from one industry to another? I think also what poverty looks like. We know we were always going to kind of welcome new families into the borough, but we also know we're going to lose a lot of families. You know, Tower Hamlets is becoming expensive. We know the cost of living in London is also expensive. We might see the impact that, you know, families that we once engaged with in Tower Hamlets may not be with us in a couple of years. I think the message for young people in Tower Hamlets is don't lose hope. I think have faith, have hope. Look at the good things that have happened. Look at the fact that the communities have come together. I think from borough to borough, I think even within Tower Hamlets, there's been such an overwhelming response and support. So have hope.
Let's watch some TV. I want to watch thriller. No, I want to watch some comedy. No. We're watching horror. Definitely. Right, Jamie, what do you want to watch?
Cartoons.
Wow, sorry, but I had the remote, so I want to watch the World Cup. Fine. Hello everybody and welcome to 1990 World Cup. West Germany v
Argentina.
the big clash we've all been waiting for. Germany are going to win.
This will definitely be Argentina since they have Maradona. Germany have some unknown players.
Or do you mean Mateus, who's going to lead Germany to victory? One 0 Germany. Mateus scored. What did I say?
Leave me alone.
West Germany win 1-0. Come on, Germany. A brilliant game. Maradona is sad with tears, ending his career with the final loss.
I'm here with Diego Maradona. Diego, how do you feel after your last match?
I feel so depressed. Like, this is my final match.
So, Mateus, how do you feel after?
I feel really happy. I'm just so depressed and sad. My team played well and they showed so much effort. I'm proud of them.
Well, you heard it here first. Come on, Germany.
Our Argentinians will always be supporting you no matter what.
I want to watch the news.
No way, that's boring.
The news tells us what's going on.
It only gives out bad news.
Politics.
And boring stuff. And I want to watch my favorite program, but that's way better than this boring news anyway.
I want to watch the news.
But I want to watch my show.
We watched your program last night.
I should watch her boring news show since you won't stop complaining about it.
Fine.
Free Nelson Mandela! Free Nelson Mandela! Free Nelson Mandela!
Nelson Mandela is a very brave man. He spoke up for black people when it was dangerous to.
Nelson Mandela fought for human rights and his rights as well.
Nelson Mandela was important because he made other people around us aware that there's a lot of racism around and that black people should have equal rights.
Nelson Mandela is an inspirational character to the world. Was wrongly arrested and put in prison for 27 years.
The news is really good and really interesting. I guess so, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it tells you about stuff that's going on around the world.
I mean, to be honest, it actually is a pretty good show.
I'm gonna watch this way more often.
See, I was right.
Let's watch something hilarious.
Oh, I know.
Let's watch You Been Framed.
watch anime.
No, I want to watch comedy.
No, I want to watch horror.
I want to watch cartoons.
No, we're watching Stars in Their Eyes.
Oh, that's a nice option.
Hi, welcome to the show Stars in Their Eyes. Today, we've got 7 contestants here, and let's see who they're going to be.
Tonight, Matthew, I will be the pop star formerly known as... I don't know.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Rosea Seacrest.
Tonight, Matthew will be Kasha.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Juliet Ringston.
Take it away.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be DJ.
Tonight, I will be the shining star. Take it away.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Party Bay.
The contestants are ready. Let's begin. Stars in their eyes.
Phoenix, I'll rise. Like a baby, you'll cry. Hey, when you look in my eyes, it's surprising to see. Always looking for something, turns out it was me. I'm on my way to the top, and it ain't gonna stop. Always searching, working hard, it all came down to me.
I hope you enjoy the show, everyone, and see you next time. Bye!
Like a phoenix, I'll rise. Like a baby, you'll cry.
So my name is Claire Slack. I'm 30 years old, as you must have worked out by the fact I was born in 1990. I'm the Heritage Officer for the Friends of Tower Hamlets Cemetery Park. I grew up in Yorkshire. I lived in a little gamekeeper's cottage in the middle of a woodland. It was really beautiful. I moved to London when I was 23 years old. And for me, the biggest shock when I first moved to London was the amount of advertising that was everywhere. It was also a bit of a shock how big the city was. So for me, getting round was a bit of a nightmare. The tubes terrified me as well. And I think the other big difference for me is that in Yorkshire, I could escape into the countryside quite easily, where in London, it's quite difficult to find that green space, which I really love. My favourite thing about working at the Cemetery Park is this connection that I've constantly got to people, to nature and the historic East End. So I get to hear some amazing stories and meet some amazing people, and then I also get to celebrate all of that through my work, which is absolutely wonderful. Now, I love learning about the people that are buried with us and their things that their families went on to do and where they ended up. One great story someone told me recently about their family grave was about a man who sent his own son for deportation. He was a bailiff and his son stole this parrot and he came up in court in front of his own father and he showed absolutely no mercy whatsoever and was like, no, you've done wrong, off you pop, and he ended up in Australia. Now, one major issue that we've been dealing with recently is the development of the Bow Common gasworks that's been made into high-rise flats. Now, they'll block substantial amounts of light from the cemetery park, which will cause difficulties for all the plants that grow there. And of course, more flats mean more people, and more people visiting our site means more wear and tear for us. I'd also say pollution was quite a major problem for us, so both for the environment and the quality of the air we breathe, but also heritage, so pollution wears away our monuments. So they wear away more quickly as the chemicals in the air eat away at the stone. The pandemic's definitely had an impact on the communities of Tower Hamlets and how they use outdoor space. So we've seen firsthand the amount of people that have suddenly discovered their local area. And loads of people have told us like they've lived in the Bow area for 10, 15, 20 years and have never heard of the cemetery park until lockdown, which has been really amazing. And we've definitely seen an increase in interest in engaging with nature, especially as people have kind of taken this time out to learn how to maybe forage and cook using the natural environment. I also think a lot of people have found themselves quite lonely over the past months, and I think the cemetery park and other outdoor spaces have provided a bit of a refuge for people and like at least the chance to smile at a stranger on a daily walk, if nothing else. The future of conservation work in the cemetery park is really exciting over the next few years, so we've got some really big plans underway which will develop a new conservation management plan which will balance the needs of heritage, nature and what our community want. We've already begun to kind of put changes in place around how we manage our historic site and our monuments. So we've recently started a new volunteering scheme for people to get more involved in caring for our monuments. In fact, recently we uncovered like the 6 beautiful Victorian monuments that had been hidden by ivy for over 30 years. So the work's already there, but I think it's going to get more exciting over the next few years. So my message for the young people of Tower Hamlets is to get involved in the things that you're passionate about. Grab every opportunity that comes your way and don't ever be scared of what's in your future. You can do whatever you set your mind to. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Simper. I was born in 1990 and I grew up in Saffron Walden in North Essex. First and foremost, I'm an actor, and then a close second is I am a sign language interpreter. So I work with deaf people, and side by side to that, I'm a drama workshop facilitator and an access worker supporting young people with disabilities. I think what separates Tower Hamlets from where I grew up in Essex is that Tower Hamlets is considerably more multicultural and also has a lot more opportunities to engage in the arts. It enables people to live together and swap and share stories, and that's a really wonderful thing. And I think Half Moon's role in the borough, in that sense, is that it's a location for those stories to thrive. Everybody that walks through the door feels valued and seen and heard and catered for and represented. My first experience with Half Moon and Tower Hamlets was third year at drama school. We have this kind of part of the curriculum called New Writing, and we went over to Half Moon and we developed a play there and acted in a play that the artistic director Chris Elwell had put together, a called Scrub-a-Dub. It was all about the adventures of playtime in a bath. It was really playful and fun and colourful. It really opened my mind to theatre designed for young people. And I was honestly hooked after that, I really was. And I started working there, not acting this time, but in workshop facilitating. And then it was during that same time that I was finding my feet with sign language. So a really wonderful opportunity came where I could kind of fuse, I could join those two together. I could join my love for performing and my love for sign language. And it was with a play called Our Country's Good with Nottingham Playhouse, which went on to tour the country as well. I've now done, I think, 5 what they call BSL integrated performances, which is where sign language is involved right in the heart of the play. So the actors are performing and signing at the same time.
This play, order, will become desperate.
How do we know what humanity lies hidden under the rags and filth of a mangled life?
So my feelings about how the pandemic has impacted the arts in general, regrettably, has been quite catastrophic, because the whole world had to shut down, right? We couldn't go outside, we couldn't go into restaurants, we couldn't go into youth clubs, all those sorts of things. The same happened with theatres. The main issue is that when all this is over, and hopefully that's soon, these smaller theatres that were kind of just getting by on not a lot of money, they may unfortunately never open again because they haven't had the funding, or funding is so tight now. And so how that personally affected my career is that I reassessed the skills that I had and how I could make a living off of it, really. So I had to kind of park acting, and then I moved further towards other things that I do. So workshop facilitating or working with the deaf community. So I'm currently working at Half Moon as an access worker, working with a young man with disabilities. So it's going to be really tough, the impact on the arts. But one thing that is really positive is that for all this free time we've had in the lockdown, a lot of people that identify as having access needs have been writing and creating and finding all these wonderful ways to still create art. And I think if companies can start to hire people with access needs into their company, so that there's a real representation, and continue to champion people with access needs.
All we can hear is the sound of the girl's shoes trampling on the gravel path.
So my message to the young people of Tower Hamlets would be, lockdown has been really tough on all of us. So as quick as you can, as best as you can, go out and see other young people, go to youth clubs, go to the park, say hi to people, and start connecting with people again. And if you haven't already, head on down to Half Moon, because they do wonderful things and you're sure to enjoy stuff in there.
Prime Minister.
Our policies may be unpopular, but they're the right policies. Why can't we ask the poor to pay the same amount of tax as a millionaire? This is a simple proposition. If you live in this country, you must pay for the privilege, something, anything. If you pay nothing, you care nothing. What do you care where you throw your rubbish? Your council estate is a mess. Your town graffiti. What do you care? It's not your problem, it's somebody else's problem. It's the government's problem. Some of you haven't got the courage for this fight. You haven't had to fight hard for anything. It's all being given to you, and you feel guilty about it. Well, may I say on behalf of those who have had to fight their way up and who don't feel guilty about it, we resent those slackers who take, and contribute nothing to the community. And I see the same cowardice in our fight within the European Union. I fight on. I fight to win. Now go out and tell the people our policy. Policy. Our policies may be unpopular, but they're the right policies. Why can't we ask the poor to pay the same amount of tax as a millionaire? If you live in this country, you must pay for the privilege. If you pay nothing, you care nothing. Your council estate is a mess. It's not your problem, it's somebody else's problem. The government's problem. Well, may I say on behalf of those who don't feel guilty about it, we resent those stackers who take, and contribute to the community. And I see the same cowardice in our fight within the European Union. I fight on. I fight to win. Now go out and tell the people our policy.
Good evening, this is the 10 o'clock news. Margaret Thatcher has announced a new tax. She will be replacing what is known as the rates with a new local property tax called the community charge or poll tax. Many feel that this new tax is unfair because everyone is expected to pay the full amount regardless of their ability to pay. This tax is charged per person in the household, regardless of the size of the property. This means that large families living in small houses would see their charges go up considerably. Thus, this tax could be seen as saving the rich money and moving the expenses onto the poor. More on this to follow shortly.
We need to do something about this. We need our voices heard.
Did you tell the others?
Yeah, they're coming now.
We need as many as possible.
We deserve to be heard.
Come on, let's protest. We can't let this poll tax happen.
We will riot in Trafalgar Square.
Good evening. More than 100 people have been injured tonight in serious rioting across central London. What began as a peaceful mass demonstration against the poll tax by more than 50,000 people ended in violence. Cars have been overturned and burnt, shops looted, and more than 300 people have been arrested. The trouble is still going on. The police say 50 of their officers are in hospital and 20 of their horses have been hurt. Tonight they accused a minority of around 3,000 of the demonstrators of launching a ferocious and sustained attack on them.
It was one of the biggest marches seen in London in recent years. Starting peacefully enough, it snaked through South London, across the river and past Parliament, to end in a rally at Trafalgar Square. Mounted police tried to control the crowd, but were pelted with missiles from a nearby building site. And as the evening went on, the number of arrests mounted. Later, part of the crowd ran down Charing Cross Road and into London's Theatreland. Cars were overturned and set alight. One policeman was knocked unconscious. Worst trouble came in Trafalgar Square itself. Mounted police made several charges around the square.
There were thousands of people. We can't let this poll tax happen.
I look up and see a line of mounted police and we don't know what to expect. Suddenly they charge.
There were police and horses everywhere. A car was engulfed in flames. I'm just unsurprised people got angry.
peacefully protesting.
We have a right to demonstrate, and our rights weren't protected by those we should be able to trust.
What's going on? How could this happen? I was dancing in the street 10 minutes ago, now there's complete chaos.
Millions of people can't afford to pay this tax. Millions of people don't have to. Millions of people want to see a fight back against it.
The energy from everyone was unbelievable. So many people who turned up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're leaving Downing Street for the last time, and we're very happy that we leave the United Kingdom in a very much better state than when we came here 11.5 years ago. It's been a tremendous privilege to serve this country as Prime Minister. Now it's time for a new chapter to open, and I wish John Major all the luck in the world. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
I was very pleased, of course. It was clear she was out of favour and I wasn't all that enamoured of the Tory party. From the point of view in Britain in general, she was an absolute disaster. But I didn't think of it as a new start because all the traditions she had and all the people around her were still there. Thatcher's end didn't mean the end of Thatcherism. We're still suffering from it now.
The burnt debris from one of the buildings in Trafalgar Square which was set on fire. There's a lot of work obviously.
So I knew exactly where I was and the first thing I was told. I was in a pub and a guy came in and said, "Hey, have you heard? Margaret Thatcher has been kicked out." My boyfriend, now husband, was like, "No way." We just went berserk. It was like we won the World Cup. When she left, I felt like the Wicked Witch of the West had been got rid of. Because she felt absolutely indestructible.
Rioters have been fighting running battles with police.
I was working in Peckham because I was a teacher at the time, and someone came over and told me of the offence. What did I do at that moment? I think I was just whooping with excitement. Whooping mixed with disbelief, really. All I could think at that time was, God, it's taken so long. It's about time.
So, where were you when you heard the news?
I was an actor back then, touring for a company. We was in a hotel bar, watching TV, when the news broke, and I thought, yes, brilliant.
I was at home making myself a cup of tea when I turned on the radio and heard the news. For a moment, I stood stunned with disbelief. Then I cheered. After all the years of arrogant leadership, it was a glorious moment when she got what she deserved.
I was at my office at the engineering union and a friend of mine rang me from the press association and I thought, great. Then I thought, oh no, it means more of the Tories.
I was walking through Elephant and Castle and I realised that people were jumping on the bus going, yeah. And when I was walking down the street, people were jumping up and down. It was the first sign of resignation. I jumped for joy.
Where were you when you heard the news?
I was sitting at home watching the television when I heard that she had been kicked out. I was shocked by the way she had been treated. My husband was gloating and still is. But all I could think of was what a time of change we had been entering and how uncertain the future was.
did feel sorry for Mrs. Thatcher when she left Downing Street in tears. There's no doubt the way she was treated by her own ministers and MPs was an act of staggering betrayal. She brought them the most successful Tory government of the century, and they stabbed her in the back. But politically, I can even feel a whisper of sympathy for her.
So my name is Ryan Thomas. I am 30 years old and I'm a personal trainer working in Canary Wharf. So growing up in East London, I really enjoyed it. The access to sport I find was really good. That really catered to me. I was literally doing everything until I had to pick a sport. So I ended up going with football. I was traveling all over London with my parents, playing football on the weekends, playing after school. Outside of playing sport, I'd just be out with my friends. So like I said, I was playing football a lot. Ended up getting a really serious injury. I ruptured my anterior cruciate ligament, but I couldn't get operated on at the time because I was still growing and my knee kept breaking down on me. Eventually had the surgery. The physiotherapist said, look, you can't do any sports for now. So I started putting on weight, and I remember I came home after that first year of uni. I remember I went for a jog. I came back and I was sweating, and I didn't realise how out of shape I'd gotten. My mum said to me, you need to get yourself back into shape. I never forget her saying that to me. That's all she needed to say. And so I started going to the gym regularly, and then I thought, you know, why not get my qualification to be a personal trainer? As a personal trainer, my main job is helping people to either lose weight or sort of build muscle and get bigger. So a lot of the people that I work with are office people, working very long hours, are very, very stressed out, but making a lot of money. I guess coming to the gym is like just sort of their release for the hour. It just gives them a chance to forget about work and work on themselves. So I think the pandemic has had a significant impact on the gym and the area. A lot of the businesses in the area, especially the restaurants and bars, rely heavily on the offices. You know, these are, you know, huge buildings with thousands of employees, most of whom are working from home. So in terms of the gym getting money from membership, that has significantly reduced, which affects my PT business because there's less people coming into the gym. I think there's going to have to be a cut down on the amount of office space that there is, because from what I'm hearing, you know, working from home is going to be something that's going to become more permanent. A lot of the businesses in the area are not getting that same footfall that they were before, and I've had to adapt. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the bars and restaurants go out of business, because there's certainly maybe going to be a shift in the way we do things. In terms of the area developing, it's going to maybe put a halt to that. You know, we've already seen that local leisure centres are being sort of closed down. Charities that support people who are maybe in difficult circumstances, if they're not getting the funding, then those charities are also struggling. It has a big knock-on effect to everybody. So my message to young people of Tower Hamlets, you know, just be ambitious, and if there's something that you really enjoy, just go for it. Even if, you know, you're at a job that pays really well, if you don't enjoy it, it's only going to demotivate you and just take life from you. And just to touch back on the local area, I think Canary Wharf and the Tower Hamlets area is a great place to work and live.
My name is Alex Portlock. I'm a development manager and I work for a mixed-use regeneration specialist at Hadley Property Group. I actually was born in London, but we moved as a family from Wembley in London to the New Forest, near to Bournemouth, which is on the south coast of England. Being close to the beach and the seaside was amazing, and also being close to the forest as well was also really, really nice, and something that I perhaps still take for granted to this day, to be honest. But I think the draw of London, the lifestyle and the culture, the opportunity is completely unrivaled. And I would say that's the biggest difference, the chance to do something different. I got to a point of living there where I realized that perhaps the opportunities were starting to dwindle a little bit. And I basically made the decision at about 22 years old that I wanted to find a new direction and a new career path. And I was lucky enough to find a job role at Hadley Property Group. We had a small little project in St. Catherine's Docks. And that was the first project that I worked on in Tower Hamlets. I sort of came in when it was already built, and I was sort of going in there and meeting people that wanted to buy the apartments. And it was a really new experience to be sort of having a hand in that early stage of the process of you know, people buying their homes and actually having a part to play in that. I think Tower Hamlets has actually grown exponentially. The benchmark for that in a lot of ways is the way that Canary Wharf has transformed itself. There's been a real drive to regenerate the borough. Part of that is, of course, to deliver homes for people that really need them, to ensure that there's affordable housing, because there are plenty of people on the housing lists across London, not only in Tower Hamlets, that need homes. One of the biggest challenges is perhaps the perception of developers and how they conduct their business. And one of the hardest points to convince people when we consult with a number of local communities as we go through the planning process is that there is a need for this housing, and it isn't going to impact them in a bad way. And you've got to ensure, as a developer, to make sure that we communicate with those people throughout this process, and we don't just turn up and stick a huge 40-story tower next to their homes. That's not what you should be doing. You should be consulting and speaking with people and understanding what the needs are of the local community and what they would benefit from. I think the pandemic has certainly had a real impact on smaller local businesses. The imperative thing now, as they sort of transition through this period and they start opening up again, if they're able to, is that they're really supported, not only by the government, but by the community as well. And we also have a responsibility as a developer to try and incorporate those smaller businesses that have been worst affected into our developments where possible, because ultimately they are the lifeblood of the community. And it's important that we all work together to come out of this pandemic as best we can. My message for the young people of Tower Hamlets would be to ensure that you believe in yourself and your own happiness. You must be happy in what you do, because ultimately that's what's going to drive you and I think make you a better person.
Citizens, good morning. We have put the wall up for your safety. Please remain calm.
What is this?
We know what's best for you.
I don't know what. Is this creepy or what?
What is that?
Call the fire brigade now.
Fire brigade!
Go gate!
Fire brigade!
Okay, come on.
Come on.
What happened?
What is
this?
We're stuck forever!
We're stuck here forever?
What do you think we should do?
Push it! Push it!
Push it! Push it!
Alright, push it.
Okay.
Let's try
This is your side. Stay away from the wall. Don't push it. Don't cross it. We are trying to help you. We want you to be safe. We don't want you to get hurt. Citizens, good morning. We have put the wall up for your safety. Please remain calm.
This is ridiculous.
I hate you, thing.
I'm gonna climb the wall.
Climb the wall?
Yes.
Alert! Alert! Alert!
Oh my goodness me!
Yes.
At last.
One more time!
Okay.
Okay, let's try again.
Let's try again.
Try again. Come on. Come on.
Big one,
This is the worst nightmare.
Citizens, good morning. We have put the wall up for your safety. Please remain calm.
That's not fair. My friends are on the other side.
The guy built the wall. I'm my friend.
The government built the wall.
Hey, down!
That's our message. I can face the wall.
I can face the wall.
I can face the wall. I can face the wall.
I can face the wall.
I can face the wall. I can face the wall.
We can face the wall.
Face the wall.
I can face the wall.
I can face the wall. I can face the wall.
I can face the wall.
I can face the wall. I can face the wall.
We can face the wall.
We can face the wall.
Here. Here.
This is your side. Stay away from the wall.
We're not listening to anymore.
Yeah! I have enough of you.
We want you to be safe.
You get safe for what?
Yeah!
We don't want you to get hurt.
The only thing that can hurt her is you.
We know what's best for you.
Not you don't!
This is your safety announcement.
Why don't we destroy the wall?
My name is Halima Khanam. I am the Heritage Officer at the Tower Hamlets Local History Library and Archives. And I was born and brought up in Tower Hamlets, lived here most of my life. I guess you don't get a sense that it's anything different from growing up anywhere else unless you leave Tower Hamlets. First time I left Tower Hamlets was I went to sixth form in another borough in Islington, and I think that's when I became very conscious of the fact that I was from Tower Hamlets. I guess the main thing that people associate with Tower Hamlets is, how poor it is, and all those sorts of myths around crime, or is it dangerous, which is a complete contrast, I guess, to what I remember, having quite a lot of freedom to play with all the kids in our local estate, and go to the parks, and lots of opportunities. And I think that has something to do with the fact that we were in Tower Hamlets. I don't think all children get the opportunity to do all the things that I got the chance to do. I remember going to the markets a lot. My family are obsessed with markets, and I knew the markets so well that the market stallholders got to know me, even from a young age. So they'd always say hi to me even if I was just walking past, even if I wasn't buying anything. It really felt like a sense of community. So whatever we needed, we tried to source, I guess, through the markets and locally as best as we can. My job at the library is all about the people. I've always loved history. It gives people a real sense of belonging, and Eastern history is just the most multi-layered, exciting thing. Whatever you want to explore, you could just explore through the history of Tower Hamlets. I think that's what excited me about coming here and being able to connect to those stories personally, and professionally being able to interpret those stories for other people. I guess the biggest challenges for our services is access in different ways. Physical access, in terms of coming and visiting us and coming to the library. And then also what I call, I guess, cultural barriers. Many people feel, unfortunately, like that the archives or the history in our archives are not for them or have no relationship to them. So I guess my job is to find new and different and exciting ways of sharing the collections that we do have. So if someone from Bangladeshi background like myself thinks, oh, what would they have about me in the archive? I could be like, actually, there's so much about you in our collection. And it's just about how you look at that collection and whether you're interpreting it for yourself or for someone else. And on top of that, Tower Hamlets has such a rich history. So you have so many different types of histories you want to safeguard in Tower Hamlets. How we do it at the library is we just have really strong grassroots connection to the communities. Stakeholders and actors and community groups like Halfmoon Theatre or the local elders group or people who are obsessed with pubs and bowl, they come to us and they tell us what's important to them, and we try and facilitate as best we can. In terms of the impact the pandemic has on the communities in town, is what I am really happy to see, and what's been really wonderful to witness is the sense of solidarity in the community and the different ways that people have been organising and helping people out, whether it's organising donations to the food banks or making sure that someone who isn't able to do their shopping has access to someone who has a car. Some of this has been organised incredibly well by our sort of voluntary sector organisations and actual council services and so on. But I see a lot of this happening just off of people's own back, just people taking the initiative to just check in on neighbours and friends and people that they've noticed they haven't heard from in a while, and just making sure that they're okay. It's a difficult situation to be in, but it's highlighted yet again the sense of community that people do still feel in the borough. My message to young people of town is be curious and try different things out. Eventually something will fit, and it gives you a sense of what works for you, what doesn't.
It's the year 1990 and this is the 6 o'clock news. Our headline today is the hole recently found in the ozone layer. What this means is colder winters, warmer summers, more severe weather patterns, and more chances of flooding. Scientists are now calling this climate change. In light of this new evidence, protesters have taken to the streets and are starting protesting against climate change.
I'm just gonna say this scene is about protesters in the 1990s, not protesters, people in the 1990s talking about their views on climate change and how they disagree with it. And one person who is for it, but no one else believes them. And that's how it affects the generation today. And we think that a lot of people in the 1990s could have done more. People should have done better in the 1990s as it's getting much more serious.
I wouldn't want to live in the 1990s because I'm so used to like the convenience of life now that I think it would be really difficult to go back to something if we didn't have that.
I wouldn't like to live there in that time, especially not if I was born in my home country, because in the 90s Yugoslavia was at war.
I would say yeah, just so I could like steal a bunch of things that came up, like you know, a bunch of songs that I would like, wish I could write. I would steal them, of films and that.
93, 94. But it is Harry Potter did come out in the 90s.
Right. I wouldn't want to come out.
That is, I am a big Harry Potter fan. Oh my god, did it?
Opportunities to do.
Like,
if you were forced to move there, you could do so much.
My dad is kind of into music, so kind of have the same interests there. I think we could probably be friends. My mum she tells me she was like very reckless and always getting into trouble. Not robbing banks, but I don't know. She would tell me she used to like hang out and break into primary schools and like sit on the roof. So I'd probably be friends with both of them, I think. They were kind of... My dad didn't do like as much, I'm not really sure. But my mum, yeah, I'd probably be friends with her.
I don't know. Maybe my mum, but I feel like... No, more my dad than my mum, yeah.
Why?
Because my dad liked to travel around and my mum liked to lie down and listen to music. Also, my dad skateboarded, so that he was actually doing something. So, also, yeah, I'd be friends with my dad.
Wow.
And probably my mum.
He collected like car figures and stuff, and he kind of worked hard. He was a bit boring. But my mum, she was cooler. She locked her geography teacher in a cupboard once, actually, and she got arrested for robbing a bank. She didn't actually rob the bank. She got arrested for it, which is quite cool. So I'd be friends with her, not my dad. He was boring.
I guess I'd be friends with both my mum and my dad because they're both very ordinary people and normal people, and I guess I like that, and I kind of like ordinary. They didn't do any crazy stuff that they did, but as in, still they were really good parents. They would look after me a lot. I guess I'd have to say I'm most like my mum because she was very charismatic, and I'm charismatic like her too.
My parents don't really talk about their past to me. I don't know why. It makes me a bit suspicious. But my mum went to art school, and my dad, I think he also went to art school as well. So I get that trait off them because I'm quite good at art. Hate to brag. So yeah, that's about it really. That's all I know.
You must stand tall and be confident because you are always right. You must not be afraid to express your own opinion and rebuke others. You are allowed to go for what you believe in as long as you perceive it as justified. You can acknowledge differences, but you must be respectful.
You see these two men that are kicking?
Yeah.
Ignore them. You see these two people that look different to you?
Yeah.
They're inferior to you. Trust no one, because in this world today, you are alone.
You should look after your brother. Go and occupy yourself. You are 18 now. You are free to go.
Be respectful.
Trust no one. They're inferior to you.
You are 18 now.
You must stand tall and be confident.
Ignore them.
Be respectful.
Trust no one.
This was one of the things that we wanted to play around with because no parent is perfect. We wanted to play with this idea of everyone being born in the same slate, like with a clean slate, and how any influences from our parents may impact how we turn out when we grow older. Theater is about what you define it, what you perceive it as. So different scenes and different portrayals may mean different things to different people. So it's really down to how much you identify with something and how much it means to you. So the main benefit to it is that everyone gets a different viewpoint and everyone can develop a different opinion on it.
How do you see yourself in 30 years' time?
I'd like to see progress in the human race, and I'd like to see our society develop and grow as we do. In 30 years, I'd like to see a world that is more tolerable and a world that is more fair to everyone of different backgrounds. And I believe that different issues, different types of discrimination must be addressed before then, because if that isn't addressed in the next 3 decades, then what are we really doing with our lives? It's a shame that we still must strive to create such hurtful pieces, because these things do happen. And I can't wait to see a world where this isn't needed, because it's just common sense, really.
So you're the sound guy, yeah? Yeah. This is a video, by the way. Like, this ain't like.
Okay.
So we were doing the different reactions that parents would have to a heterosexual relationship and a homosexual relationship. We just kind of wanted to show the difference between the two, especially considering back then most people weren't as open-minded as some people are now.
I'm Alessandra and I'll be playing the mum.
I'm Maya and I'll be playing the daughter.
I'm Malika and I'll be playing the boyfriend.
Oh, so, who's this?
This is my boyfriend, Malachi.
Boyfriend? Aren't they so cute? I'm so relieved she's finally got a boyfriend. I thought she'd end up as a cat lady at 35. So, how did you guys meet?
We actually met at a lecture a while ago. Yeah, we happened to sit next to each other, and I think we kind of hit it off.
I barely even know this girl, and she's so into me. And now she's taking me to dinner to see her mum, and I have a date tomorrow. This is way too soon.
So, where did you guys go on your first date?
We actually went to the cinema, and then we got to grab a bite to eat afterward, and it was actually really romantic. Mum has been on my back since day one to get a boyfriend, to get married, to have kids, to get a husband. So when I went off to college, I thought, you know what, I might as well grab the first boy I see and bring him back to make Mum happy.
It was so nice having you over.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'll be playing the dad.
Hiya, I'm Maya. I'll be playing the daughter.
Hi, I'm Taylor. I'll be playing the girlfriend.
Hi, it's really nice to meet you. Who's this?
This is my girlfriend.
Your girlfriend? I can't believe she's got a girlfriend. I mean, I know it's just another one of her phases, but all the other parents think that I'm just a single dad, and now I'm gonna be the single dad with a gay child. I can't have that for my reputation. Oh, that's really great. So, how'd you guys meet?
We actually met at a lecture.
This is really awkward. I know how much Maya's dad means to her, and I hope I don't ruin anything, since I can see he's not really feeling the situation.
And it's really sad because my parents accept me for who I am, so I really hope I don't ruin anything for her. I know how much Maya loves her dad, and I wish this were easy.
So, how was your guys' first date? If you even have those.
Dad, we do have those. And it was actually really cute. We went to the cinema and we got a bite to eat afterward. It was kind of really romantic. Me and Dad were really close ever since Mum left, but it's taken me a while to pluck up the courage to even bring Taylor to meet him. I know he loves me to the moon and back, but I wish he'd show it more. I feel really bad for her. I just don't want things to have to change between us.
Right. Well, it's been lovely to meet you.
You think things have changed since 1980 to now?
I think things have definitely changed. I don't necessarily think they've changed enough, but there has definitely been some sort of progress, and any progress is good.
She always put her hand up in class. She's good at English, I'm good at English. She's not that good at maths, she's not that good at maths as well. You know? And she's respectful. I think I'm respectful. She was always paying attention in class, you know, back talk to the teacher or anything like that. And also she stands up for herself, which I think when I need to, I'll stand up for myself and defend myself.
What do you think your dad was like when he was your age?
Well, my dad at the time, he wasn't with my mum, he was in Uganda at the time, and he was like, he would often go visit his grandfather, and because his grandfather had a plot of land on a farm. He said it was very nice there. It was a very nice day. When he went to England, they thought it was going to be really clean.
You guys are brilliant improvisers, so I feel like sometimes when I throw you in the deep end, you swim. So we'll see what happens.
Where were you when you first saw someone being discriminated against?
Where were you when your children were vulnerable?
Where were you when people made excuses for rape?
Where were you when you saw someone being harassed?
Where were you when female students were being sexually harassed?
Where were you when you saw policemen killing people?
Where were you when justice wasn't served?
Where were you when you didn't stop someone from being discriminated against?
Where were you when you first saw sexual assault?
Where were you when someone said a racial slur to somebody?
Where were you when you first heard the phrase boys will be boys?
Where were you when you heard that people didn't have equal rights?
Where were you? Where were you?
Where were you? Where were you?
Where were you?
Where were you? Where were you?
Where were you?
Where were you? Where were you?
Where were you?
Where were you?
Where were you?
Where were you? Where were you? Where were you?
Where were you?
Snapped 1990-2020 is an exhibition of photographs exploring 30 years of local history through photography, same scene, 30 years apart. The exhibition features images of Tower Hamlets taken in 1990 by local residents and professional photographers, alongside images taken at the same location 30 years later in 2020 by myself and members of Half Moon's youth theatres. This is when COVID-19 started travelling around the world. We were just about to go into lockdown about 2 days later, so there's no one around. I like to think about Half Moon youth theatre participants looking at these in another 30 years and thinking how strange it would have been to live through a global pandemic. and how empty the streets are here in these pictures. There's also some photos of Columbia Road as thriving in the original photos from 1990, and to walk again through Columbia Road and have it completely deserted is something that I didn't think I'd ever see.
It was really hard to take the picture because we had to take it in the middle of the road, and it was really hard to get the two people in and the car at the side in, because that's what photography is about sometimes, to get in the exact picture. I liked how I actually persevered a bit, and I kept getting loads of shots of it, and in the end I got the shot that I wanted, just like the 1990 photo.
So what's really interesting about these two photographs is the fact that there are less buildings in the 2020 image than there are in the 1990 image. Most of our locations feature a lot of regeneration, and here what we've seen is a whole row of shops taken out, but they haven't been rebuilt. This is the only location that we've got like this in the exhibition. And this is one of my favourites from the exhibition, and I love the fact it's outside Half Moon's door. Tower Hamlets is a huge borough, but it's really nice to anchor some of the exhibition right around the door from Half Moon.
It was really fun doing this project because we got to take a photo of an old photograph, but where it is now. I thought it was like way older than this. I thought it was made ages and ages and ages ago. But when we did this, I realised that maybe it was actually quite recently. It was very different. There was a lot of new things that had been built around it that we couldn't have in the photo. And we had to take it from a different perspective because there was a block that had been built from where the other photographer had taken the photo. Also there was a train that went by and we were just trying to get it in the photo.
The dots in quite a few places have been filled in, and when we were looking for some of those locations, we really had to look hard, didn't we, to find out where they were, because by looking at the picture from 1990, it looked like where we were standing, we should have been in the dots, in the waters. But there's also so much character in Tower Hamlets. All those local shops are still here, which is really nice. They might change the outside, but there's still the same local chemists, the local grocers, and that's really nice to see that those characters in those shops haven't been pushed out of the borough and that they're still here.
I just really like how much change they show over 30 years, how much the area has been redeveloped and improved in so many ways, and just a much nicer place to live in. Yeah, the joke part is different to the second one, just because it's been made bigger and it looks nicer, and people might also spend more time on it now.
So these photographs in Brick Lane were taken on our last day of shooting right before the lockdown. Saturday in Brick Lane is never normally like this quiet. It was really unusual to be walking around with so few people. I guess you can look at it in two ways. It was really kind of sad because it wasn't full of life. Normally Brick Lane is thriving, and not having that there felt like it didn't feel like it was Brick Lane, but it's also a really poignant moment in time. I think they're a really interesting record of what happened in 1990 and 2020.
I suppose I've learned that just Culture has just really advanced, and I suppose it's become more accepting over the last 30 years. And that it's just become more diverse because more people have moved in from around the world. Brought positive change and also made the rest of us see just how we can improve our society and make it, more accepting of everyone.
Before we did this project, I wasn't too into photography, but afterwards, I tried to get the same camera as I used for the actual thing.
It was quite exciting experience to take the photo, as it was a really nice experience to be part of the group.
It's slightly more complicated than I thought it was.
We looked around all of our locations and we compared everything that we photographed to the 1990 pictures, and we looked at our compositions and we made sure we were shooting from the same angles where we could. In some places we couldn't because there were crossings in the way and there were bollards, so we couldn't stand where the other photographers stood. There were new roads, so that meant that it wasn't safe for us to stand in the middle of the road and take a picture, but we got our closest approximation to that.
I'm just not as easy just walking around and taking pictures. You have to actually get it right, and if we're doing something like this, it's not just as easy as walking down the road and being like, oh, that's where it is. We have to actually think about it and how much things have changed over the last 30 years.